faster. Yeah, keep the dog on the left-hand side, go faster. You can see the dog is trying to grab to get in front of him. Go faster, still faster. The dog must start running freely next to you. Go faster. Give a little bit more leash on the dog. Release the leash a little bit. Yes, now the dog is starting to move. Move faster. Go faster, sir. It's difficult. The dog keeps on pushing in front of him. But I can see what I want to see. Yeah, now the dog is starting to relax and move. Keep it at that pace. Can you guys see what is happening? The dog is starting to flow in its movement. It's putting its front leg forward. I can see the stretch in front, how far the dog can reach to the front. I can see how far it reaches back with the hind leg. I can see maintenance of the top line or not. I can see the dog is limping. There are many things I can see by looking at it just moving. I'm going to do another round and then we'll stop and get you to catch your breath a little bit. Okay, you can come up to here and stop here for me with the dog. In Africa, a lot of them stayed behind. But why didn't we find dogs all over, especially the east coast of Africa? Why are there no boerboels in Nigeria? Or why were they only in Namibia, Mozambique, South Africa, a couple of countries? Because those countries in those days were not populated. There were no people there. Mozambique, Angola had malaria, tsetse fly. There were nobody there. In the front and a little bit higher at the back, right? But it is it's a dog that is still young. It's 18 months old. As it grows older, the shape will change a little bit. Let me just make a note here. Sexual dimorphism of the dog. We also in boerboels want the males to look like males and the females to look like females. Yeah, we don't have a woke culture where you can decide what gender you're going to be. The boerboel will be male or female, and we recognize that, right? So sexual dimorphism on that one is good. The shape of the muzzle, the length and the fusion of the face. There's a little bit of a structure lacking on there. The muzzle length, how do you determine how long the nose of a boerboel must be? The breed standard gives you an exact answer to that. The length of the nose must be 2 units, and the roof of the skull must be 3 units. So what you can do is you measure with your fingers how long the roof of the skull is. Huh? And then you go to the nose. And the nose must be a little bit shorter than the roof of the skull. Okay? That is, it's a 2 to 3 relationship. It's not measured in centimeters or anything like that, because you get a huge dog and you get a small dog. But all of them, the head must be in proportion. Right, so you can see on this one, the nose is a little bit long. All the roof of the skull is a little bit too short, but the relationship is definitely a little bit out. Okay? You guys see that? The fusion is how the mouth goes onto the head, onto the skull itself. Like a baboon, you have a round head and then a very prominent mouth part sticking out. Now compare the fusion of that dog's head, for instance, on the mouth onto the head. And then you compare this one. Can you see that it's much more in here at the cheeks? Okay. That is the fusion we're looking for. It must be a little bit more out, right? So the fusion here is a little bit lacking. The skull musculature. The shape of the skull of the dog is determined by muscles. There's muscles in the zygomatic arch. It's a part of the skull. Inside there's a big muscle that basically pulls the jawbone and things like that up. Okay. A dog doesn't have much muscles that pull the jaw open. It basically has muscles that keep it shut, it closes it. It falls open pretty much by itself. But the muscles on the head must be well developed. This dog is on average, it's not good, not bad. The skull, the muzzle ratios, we already talked about that. Levels, very important on a boerboel. The level of the nose. If you look at the nasal bone, it's got a certain level. And if you look at the roof of the skull, right, it must be on the same parallel planes. Now this dog, the back of the head dips down. And you see that the nose is on the level. If you look at the head, it starts high in front and then it dips down towards the back. Okay. So if you breed with this dog, you have to make sure that you get a very good shaped head male to use on this dog. Okay. Let me just see here. Sorry, I just need to see something. Okay, the eyes, the eyelids, very important for the vets as well. We on the boerboels should not have entropion, ectropion, or distichiasis. Right, we do see it on some of the dogs and then we penalize it. The eyelids must be firm. Now, it became a fashion to breed dogs with a lot of skin. And one of the first places where it impacts on the dog is the eyelids. Because the moment you get too much skin, the eyelid starts folding. And you start to get infection in the eyes. Right, so always keep the skin on the head of the dog tight. This dog is not too bad. Right. You get dogs that really have these long, droopy lips. And the breed standard says exactly how long the lips must be, where they can hang. You know, the top lip may not hang below the bottom level of the lower jaw. Right. And in many dogs, you just see it looks like they've got curtains on the side of their faces. Okay. Right, so the eyelids on this dog, I'm very happy with that. The stop and the full. The stop is between the eyes, this, where the nose goes over to the head. Now look at this dog, it's got about a 45-degree angle there, if you look at it from the side. That's the stop. Stop is where the head goes over to the nose, but the fill is the important thing. If you look at her, between the eyes, there's a big valley. And if you look in that valley, that stop actually goes straight. Okay, so the stop on this dog looks from the side on a quick look as if it's correct, but if you look at it in detail, you see that the fill is poor between the eyes, and that makes it a problem. Right, the ears, the shape, the position, and the structure. The shape, V-shaped, thin ears. The size is about correct. The position is a little bit funny. It should be a little bit more level on the head. It's turned like this. You'll see the ears are like facing forward a little bit. Okay, so that's what you try to get that a little bit better. Nose, the nose leather must be black. It must have nice, big, wide open nostrils so it can get air in. No white spots or any bleaching on the nose. That's fine. The lips. I like the lips on this dog. It's good. The length is good. The dentition. Now, I want you to stand over the dog for me like this. Then take its mouth on the side and just pull open the lip. No, in the front. In the front. They don't like it very much. I want to see the top and the bottom. Take both hands. Use both hands. One on the lower lip, one on the top lip. Alright. That's fine. Show me. Okay, right. It's got a slight underbite. This dog. Okay, we want a scissor bite, ideally. Ideally, we want the top teeth just to go over the bottom teeth. That's a scissor bite. This dog's got a slight underbite. It's doing that. Right? Lower jaw is a little bit longer. Okay. So what we don't want is padded mouth, right? Where the top jaw is over the bottom jaw. Because then they can't eat properly. But we disqualify normally on a pallet. Okay. Dentition. We also look at the condition of the dentition and to decide if the dog's teeth are all broken and things like that. It influences the health of the dog, so we will penalize it. Right, the neck. The next must show a slight muscle crest, muscle crest, and it must be a nice strong neck. Also, the length must be in balance with the rest of the body. The skin of the dog. Now, on the breed standard, it talks, come here. It talks about the thickness of the skin. And man, I felt the skin of dogs already so many times. And I could not feel what the hell were the old people talking about the thickness of the skin. You know, why? Some dogs I see, it doesn't look as if they've got thick skin. But then it struck me, what they were actually talking about is the appearance of calluses and sores on the skin. Right? In Afrikaans, the language in which they wrote the original breed standard, to have a thick skin means you have a tough skin. Right? A dik vel it means it's tough, it's strong. Now look at this dog. There's no calluses on the elbows. There's no calluses on the back. Boerboels tend to form very big calluses if they have what they call thin skin. Right, so this dog, the skin, the quality of the skin, the thickness of the skin, let's still use that word, it's still very good. The top line of the dog is not good. Right, if you look at the top line of this dog, it sags behind the shoulders and it goes up at the back. The top line should be level. The loin, the back and the loin, if you look at the dog from the back, it should be a nice, wide, strong back. And the length for loin, the loin is the part between the back in the last rib and the front of the hind leg. It should be 1/3 of the length of the torso. Now this is quite good on this dog, it's not a big problem. I know where the problem with that funny back is. I've spotted it already. Right, the forelimbs, we want nice strong forelimbs, nice strong legs, not these skinny little stickies, toothpicks. This dog has got nice sturdy legs. Forelimbs is fine. The elbows, now I want you to run again, go straight there and straight back. Leans in to the handler all the time. Go faster. Go faster, please. Come back here towards me. But you can normally see there's a problem with the elbow, it swings out. And if you look at the left elbow on this dog, when he comes back, go there again and then come back straight here. You'll see that elbow swings out a little bit. Right. Come here, run towards me. This is something to be watched, okay? Remember, I'm hypercritical for you guys so that you can learn. Okay, it's not, I'm not knocking the dog down or anything. I want you guys to learn. Okay, come run towards me. Okay, go back that way, go for that corner. But there's definitely, unfortunately the dog is on that side. Okay, come back here. Can you guys see, even in slow speed? Now she's finished running. Hey, have you run enough now? Okay, you can stop here. Huh? Hey, what's your name, lady? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. She's a very nice girl. Okay, right. One of the hand on the human. The pastern must have a slight angle because that's a shock absorber for the dog as they are running. It absorbs the weight of the dog, and this one is excellent. The paws, the shape of the paws on this dog, very good. It must be ball shaped, nice, not splayed open toes, huge long toes and things like that. Like that. The scapula, very important. This part, the shoulder, it has a critical impact on movement. It must have a lay back angle. It must be laid back at a certain angle. because that's how far the dog can reach forward with his leg. If that scapula is very upright, the dog can only give short strides in the front. If the scapula is leaned back more, the leg can go further, right? And the dog can move better. Okay. The layback angle on the scapula on this dog is good. I'm happy with that. The chest, the width of the chest is very good. But I was speaking to this lady earlier. Something we must watch. A new tendency in boerboels is to have very deep chests. The breed standard actually says that the chest should be at the point of the elbow, not deeper. But it's not applied. And many of the breeders now, because in many shows they reward the dogs with a very deep chests. And it's wrong. There's a researcher called Dr. Carol Bouchard. Look for her on the internet. She did a lot of research, for instance, on stomach torsion. Stomach torsion is where the stomach of the dog twists inside. And then the dog dies. Most of the time they die. Because you can't get them to a vet quick enough. Right? Now, stomach torsion is something that we must try and get out. And they've been researching and trying to find the reasons for stomach torsion. And they did research on how fast the dogs eat. Do they drink water after they've eaten? Do they run after they've eaten? The type of food they're eating. Lots of things. And they couldn't really find correlations. 2 correlations, however, came out in the research. Is that all the dog breeds with excessively deep and wide chests suffer from stomach torsion. Have you ever seen a greyhound with stomach torsion? It doesn't happen. But look even at small dogs. Dachshund, they get stomach torsion. A bulldog gets stomach torsion. Boerboels get stomach torsion. So that's something to look at. Is for your future breeding, try to keep the chest to end at the tip of the elbow. Right? If you see your dog goes way beyond that, start getting a little bit concerned. And when you breed, breed with a dog with a normal chest. Don't go add deep chest onto deep chest onto deep chest. Okay? Just the tip. The second interesting thing that Dr. Bouchard found, direct correlation with in stomach torsion, is inbreeding. Very interesting. We never knew there was a genetic base to stomach torsion. And inbreeding seems to bring it up tremendously. Okay, right. The chest. We'll sit there. I'm going to go down a little bit. The hindquarters. The back side of the dog. We are nearly finished, Bill. Okay? There's reasonable musculature there. The shape and the musculature is okay. The slope of the croup is, however, what causes this dog at the back to be raised up. If you look at this part at the back, you put a pen there. Oops. You will see that it's angled quite steeply. Right? That's the angle. That angle should be about this. Because this croup is pushed down like this, and the hind legs doesn't have good angulation, the dog is lifted up at the back. The legs are too straight, and the chassis there is too sharp down. Right? The suspension is a little bit up there at the back. Right? So that is why that dog is higher at the back and then the front. The thighs, the volume of the thighs is reasonable. The angulation at the back is not good. The spine and the tail of the dog. Why do we look at the tail of the dog? First of all, we want to see if it doesn't have any kinks in it. If the tail has got kinks in it, it's most probable that the rest of the spine has kinks in it. That there's weak points in the rest of the spine. So what we do is the tail and the attachment of the tail, everything there is good. Reproductive organs, everything looks fine. The hair of the dog, the length and the density of the hair is good. The color of the dog is absolutely acceptable. The pigmentation is good. The general health of the dog, this dog is very well looked after. I'm going to give it a 9. The mobility of the dog is a little bit iffy because of that hind angulation, which is so straight in the ass, which is up in the air. It's a little bit of a wheelbarrow, the dog. So it's right. I'm going to give that a 6. Temperament of the dog is good, and the obedience of the dog is okay. Right. I'm going to give a final score to the dog a little bit later. But in general, this is a good boerboel. There is no such thing as a perfect dog. Right? But this is not a bad dog. It's a good breeding dog.